Today I want to talk about how I use Notion for my projects and, well, everything else. If you're new and you want to follow along for more, like, sub, bell. Hello, this is Puddle. Welcome back. What are we looking at? Well, this is Notion, and as you can see, this is my script. And I don't got a script this time, so we gonna wing it. Now, if you don't know what Notion is, I'm gonna be real quick about it because you could easily find out, or maybe you found this video and you already know what Notion is. Notion is essentially a series of text databases with huge customization options, so you can adapt any project, any plans, any roadmap, any business, anything that you want is so easily held together in Notion, and all of the paid stuff isn't really that expensive, and it's mostly for stuff I don't even need, so I'm going to show you today all the stuff I do in Notion on a free account, and these are cross-platform. I have it on my phone, I have it on my tablet, I have it on my computers. If I make a note in here, I can open it on any of those and they sync immediately. I don't have to hit Control S, everything auto-saves. So getting that out of the way. This is my video script section, close to home because we're on YouTube right now. I have one here called Notion is a Game Changer. Maybe I'll call this video that. Maybe I won't because it's not clickable enough. But either way, I have it tagged as video ideas, and when I'm working on something, I'll also add the tag priority. And this is just my active projects, but if I click on all, this is a view that shows all of my ideas, all of my video scripts. And I can even go to finished with a completed view, and anything I tag with completed projects ends up here in this finished section, and it takes itself out so I don't see it during my active projects. Finished and show you, for example, my biggest mess up with a client. That was a recent video. If you haven't seen it, it's a doozy. I have my script in here for my entire video, and then when I need to caption the video, I just copy the script, I play the video back really quickly, and I just check if it's word for word the same, usually it is, and then I can upload those to YouTube. So I have all my scripts on hand at any point if I need to go back and get them. Sorry if I stumble a little bit here. There is so much that I have to show you, and I'm so excited because honestly, I think this program is like one of my special interests now. So you can make a new file in this database, but you can also set up templates. And whenever I'm working on a new video, I click this one little button and it creates my template for me. If you're ever wondering like, wow, Puddle sure has structure to their videos. They have like the intro, the midpoint, and then the outro point. Having this template allows me to do that, and it makes it so much easier because now the first step is done. I can just work on the next video because I already have it set up. Where we're at right now, video scripts, is actually within my project notebook. And it's a little decked up, but like what matters is that you're looking over here right now. These are all my projects, and I have a way to view it, so it's just the things that are in progress right now. So these are my priorities right now.
And wow, do I have a lot on my plate, let me tell you.
But what's great is just like the video scripts, all of these, you can go in even deeper. Okay, I had to edit some things because I do not want this spoiling anyone. So, Living with a Monster is my vertical webcomic that is a continuation of my series from Neverly Alone, which was my web series on this channel. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you check it out because it's my baby. Anyway, I have all of my scripts for all of my episodes in here, and as you can see, I've only released half of them so far. It's still a work in progress, so I don't want to have anything be spoiled in here, but I want to show you what Notion is capable of because I think it's really cool. So again, this is inside of a database already. This is inside of my projects database. And this is another database with all of my scripts. So like, let's go to Ritual, and I can see I have it listed with characters, so I can check which characters are in which episodes to make sure that I'm giving them enough time. And you can see I have my whole script here. This is the whole episode for episode 5 of Living with a Monster. And then I also have down here my, text chat that's supposed to emulate AIM. So all of these are like that, but you can see each one of these has their own section. And I also was able to embed my own. I can't click it and have it screen record, but this is my comic tracker that I already talked about in another video. So I have a comic tracker for this too, so I can track my progress. I also have a character log here. Like, I haven't utilized it as much as I could have, but it's really interesting that you can have like a character grid, and I have all this like conceptual stuff for all of my characters so I can have them on hand. Like, if I click on Marigold, I have like my first shots of Marigold and some quick ways to get her model reference up. But that's just one of my projects. I'm not going to show you inside Reindeer Games right now, but it has contact information for people to do certain voiceover lines for it. I also have my closure music video, which I've shown a glimpse of before in my Just Write Everything Down video, because I have a video gallery in here of inspiration. I have my alternate palettes where I can just throw my art in here, my storyboards, my lyrics, my original concept for it. I have it all here together so I can consult it as I'm working on it, or as I'm sharing it with other people who are working on it, because it's easier to get the ideas across to somebody if you have visuals. So as you can see, I do a lot of project stuff in here, and this isn't all of my projects. This is some of my projects, and this is even just some of them. I'm not going to show you all of them because some of them I probably shouldn't show on YouTube. But as you can see in here, I have all of my sections in here for how I've written street magic, and I can't open these for you too much. Like I can open maybe chapter 2 or chapter 3. These are small, but these ones get a lot more detailed, as you can imagine. All of these ways to visualize your story bumps and your world building even. I have a friend who's doing a very large world building project for the webcomic he's working on, and I'm hoping I can collab with him sometime, so you'll meet him soon. But I was so excited to show him just what you can do in Notion with world building, because there are so many different templates available from people who had hosted their own TTRPG or their own fictional world for their story. You can do so much with these infinite databases within databases. So I'm going to pull it back out to projects real quick and show you. I also have all of my music in here too. Literally every song is in here, and they're tagged by the albums that they're on, if they were GIFs. I also have a way to change it, so I'm just looking at my active album, which I haven't titled yet. Isn't that fun? So here's a little sneak peek at some songs that are going to be on my next album. Wow! And each one of these also has all of my chords. And what's great is at any point you can pull up a search with Control-P, and it searches all of your work pages, all of your documents, all of your titles, all of the text, all of the tags, and you can quickly find whatever page you wanted. Like if I wanted my end of the stream song. Right there. Fast, easy. I got my chords in here. I got my lyrics. I usually just zoom out, and there we go. I'm good to go. Just Control minus or Control plus zooms in and out. I really like how minimal this app is too, because it's not distracting. If I don't have a bunch of stuff on the screen, I can get a lot more work done. So there's an example of I'm using it as a songbook too. Let's pull back again. I also put recipes in here. Not a lot of them, but there's certain recipes that I like to have on hand. Like right now I'm trying to get the perfect chocolate chip cookie. You'll hear about it later. It's a whole nightmare. But that's another example. I also have my book project, which I'm not going to show you because there's a little too much revealed there. But I'm having an art/poetry book that's a long work in progress. It's going to be a while before that comes out. But as you can see, I'm like also planning that through here. Speaking of things that I'm also doing through here, let's pin this bad boy. But something interesting that I've just started doing, and this is a little excessive. I would not say you have to do this by any means, but I'm one of those people that I have too many clothes, and I'm trying to get better at knocking down my wardrobe to be something capsule size, something minimal, something manageable. But I still want to keep a lot of the tacky stuff that I love, because I love tacky clothes. So what I've been doing is I've been listing things out by the types of what they are, and then I can also add a property filter for my consider donating button. And there's a bunch of things that I've just considered donating. And now, like, they're not in front of me. I'm not having that attachment to them. And I go, well, I haven't worn this in so long. You could even mark the last time you wore something if you wanted to. But what I'm doing currently is I'm creating a log of everything that I have. So I have a number of each thing that I have. So I can just really look at it. I have 55 shirts. Geez, I don't wear some of them. So it gives me a different perspective, you know? So that's just one of the ways that I'm using Notion. You can change all of these views, by the way. It's the same chart. And you can even set at the bottom of a chart for it to count values, to do averages, to do percentages. Like, it's a really helpful application, you guys. So Project Notebook also contains my watch list. That is to say, my complete media list of all things that I am ready to start. All of the things that I have left open recently in the last 2 months that I haven't finished. Hi, can you tell that I'm rewatching Marble Hornets? I also have every book that I want to read in here. And what's really cool is you can see a lot of books about self-help and codependency and self-growth. Hey, what's up? I'll put myself on blast. Here's a book that I actually read and referenced for Living with a Monster because I wanted to read about adolescent social dynamics, and it was called Why Good Kids Act Cruel by Carl Pickhardt. And guess what you can do with Notion? I got these books from my library, and every time that a page really stuck out to something, I would take a picture of it with my phone, and I would put it in my Notion file for the book. And now I don't have this book anymore, but I have the pages that were important. But see, what's also really cool is if you're importing those photos of pictures of books on mobile, it also has the option to convert it to text from the image. I am not kidding. It's not perfect, but it's really close. So just a little extra goodie there that nobody told me about that I found out about is you can just take pictures of things and import the text. It has an actual good, decent, I think it's called OCR reader that translates it from the image to raw text. That's brilliant. It's great. So that's a thing in here too. And every time that I want to rewatch something with a friend, I can add it to my rewatching list, and I can even add a note. Oh, I finished Kipo actually. That was great. We all really liked Kipo. I highly recommend. So see, it's like, it's fun to have like these little things, because next time that you're hanging out with your friend, you're like, oh, we should do something, and you don't remember what to do, but you know you've talked about, like, we said that we were going to read this thing, or we said that we were going to play this game together or watch this show together, and then you just kind of never do. You have a reminder. So I don't know about y'all, but I am dysfunctional. I cannot keep my stuff in order if I don't have something to help me keep it in order. What I was at first looking for was an application that worked kind of like a notebook. And I got that with Google Drive and OneNote a little bit, but it didn't exactly do what I needed, and there were some clunky problems with it. And I switched to Notion thinking I'll have a notebook. And then I realized I don't have a notebook, I have a binder. And then I realized I don't have a binder, I have an entire world database, a giant system that I can do anything with. And the best part is you can just change stuff whenever you want. You don't have to keep it any certain way. I have my project section here, and I have projects next to my media list. I don't need to keep it like this. I can move them around however I want, but I can also hide them and not think about it right now. Now, I also have a bucket list in here, which obviously, say if I were to go into travel, there's not a lot of traveling right now in the world, but I have like these very specific little things that mean a lot to me that at some point I would like to do. And say you want to see every Studio Ghibli film. Well, that sounds like fun, but it doesn't mean anything until you start looking at the checklist and checking them off. So now I have a section for that. I put them in here and I check them off, and I get a little closer every time. I'm working on a comic with chat logs that's on my bucket list, and that's Living with the Monster, which I can link to right here immediately. You can have all of these pages linked together, you guys. It's awesome. Now, what else? I'm not going to get too far into this because it's very personal. I'm probably gonna have to blur a lot of this, but I actually have my purchases and my wish list listed out in Notion too. And if I have different views show up, I can have it show me only the last 30 days of my purchase activity, so I can see how much I've been spending. I can see how many times I've been spending. You can have it add up a total sum at the bottom. You can have the dates for when you bought things. I also have a section for the date that I wanted something, so sometimes I'll want something, I'll put it in my chart, and then after some time I'll say, you know, it's been a couple weeks, do I still want it? And it helps me manage my money better, because here's the thing, the same reason why I'm doing the wardrobe is if I have a database with all of my stuff and I don't want to keep buying more clothes impulsively and I don't want to keep buying things impulsively, every time that I do one of those things now, I have to add it to these lists. It creates friction that prevents me from impulsively purchasing things. So now I'm less likely to buy clothes impulsively because I remember, I have 50 plus shirts. I don't need another shirt right now. Back when I started this, before I moved to Notion and I was on Microsoft OneNote, I had a lot of journals that were in one long page. So I would type the date, I'd type a journal entry, and then above that, I'd type the next date and the next journal entry for a month. And it would just go opposite order, like reverse chronological, so that the newest thing would be on the top and the oldest entry would be at the bottom of one long page. Every month had its own page, and that's how I used Microsoft OneNote. And at first I started doing that in here, but Notion's capable of so much more, you know? So it didn't work for me like that. So I was able to, even though I had a template for how I wanted to do weekly entries instead of monthly entries or something like that, it was just so much easier to freeball and just throw random entries in here, and I can always find them because I can trust the search function. I have Puddle comic ideas in here. I have a list of manifestations, which sounds a little funny, but like, it's good to keep in mind the things that make you feel whole with yourself and things that make you feel like you're on track with yourself. So there's certain things like my manifestation list, my boundaries and personal policy list, things that I didn't realize a long time ago. You need to set hard boundaries with people, and you need to set hard boundaries with yourself on certain things. And if you don't write them down, it's a loosey-goosey enigma of a concept. So if you write them down, you create lines in the sand for yourself of things that you do not accept from behavior in other people, things that you do not accept from behavior in yourself. Writing them down helped me, and I was able to do that within Notion. I also have a bunch of quotes in here that I saved because they meant something to me and it felt good to put them somewhere, and I can come back and find them if I want to find specifically a certain quote and how it made me feel. And it sounds a little silly, but I even have all of the aesthetics that I personally am attracted to in here with links to where I can find cool content of that style. But like, as you can see, I do like pro-con lists. This is a great place to hold all of my pro-con lists. It's a great place to hold all of my brain dumps and mind maps. And at any point you can delete them. You can throw things under a toggle so you don't immediately see it, but it's still there. Or if you really want to get into it, you can set up a life calendar like I've done here. And unfortunately, the only problem I have with Notion is I cannot set an event on a calendar to repeat. I have to copy the event myself. And I'm hoping someday that they add or implement something that allows you to say, repeat this every X days, or repeat this every week, every month, every year. That would be the pinnacle. That's the only problem I have with Notion, is that it doesn't do that yet. But it will. And you're getting probably a look into my life a little bit too much right now. So let's go ahead and switch it back to work view, because I have a separate version of it. All of these are the same database, mind you, but this is a separate view that just shows my work stuff. And I haven't updated this week. I should show you right now. Yesterday, I streamed. I'm going to give myself a star for that and say that's an achievement. I streamed for 4 hours yesterday. Mark that as an achievement. 4-hour stream. Talk sprites, because that's what I worked on. I also, yesterday, Living with a Monster script revision. I worked on that yesterday with a friend of mine. Gonna give myself a star for that because I worked really hard on that with them. Got stuff done yesterday. But you see I have like an actual standard calendar here. It starts on Monday for me because that's how I group my work weeks, but you can have it start with Sunday if you want. And I can just go back and see all of these months that I filled up. And what I like to do is I like to use the clap emoji because it's like, hey, I did something this week. I synced my vid. I did the metadata, you know? Cool stuff. So every time that I have those little claps, it's me going, yeah, I got work done this week. Even though some weeks it feels like I really didn't do anything. Like, oh yeah, I recorded something, but I didn't get a lot done. But when I look back, I see all the claps. I did do stuff, you know? And when I show my partner, they're like, oh, that's cute. You're applauding yourself. And I'm like, oh, that is kind of cute. I kind of like that. Just an example of that view, but at the bottom here, I also have another view of the same calendar. It's the same one, but this is in a list view showing me only things that are happening up into the next week. So I can see a lined out schedule view of my upcoming week of things that I'm expecting, things I have to do, commitments that I've made, and some of them can go multiple days. Like for instance, Yule is going Sunday until Wednesday, and I have that whole time because I'm going to make my Yuletide drink that I make every year. And I also got to run some recyclables too. So it's fun and it's comfortable and it's nice and it doesn't feel overwhelming because at some point I went in and I added all this stuff, and now that person who did all of that, that version of me who got all that work done, just saved myself a headache over the next year. And it didn't take that long to do. Now, not talking about a whole year, let's talk about a day. I don't use this column every single day. Some days I'll get a bunch of stuff done and then I'll feel burnt out for a couple days and I'll be like, why am I not getting anything done? And I'll start beating myself up and it's like, oh yeah, what did I do that day? What did I do 2 days ago? And I can add in all of these things that I normally do. I can make more too. And it's like, well, I showered and I chatted with my friends and I edited a video and I did some journaling. I also dyed my hair and I worked on a comic and then I went on a walk. That was a lot of stuff yesterday. Well, I can add all of these things in here and each one of these has a spoon count. For instance, laundry, 2 spoons, and I can change these. It comes down to how I feel, how intensive they are. And like, let's say I only have like 6 spoons or something that day, and all of these things add up. Let me go actually into the full view for it. For instance, KonMari, that's a big one. That one takes 8 spoons. If I KonMari in a day, there's most likely nothing else I'm getting done that day. And I don't really have 15 spoons. I'm not a 15 spoon person unless I'm manic. So if I'm not getting a lot done in one day, it's usually because I did too much a couple days before and I burnt myself out. And you know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes I burn myself out. The problem is that I would beat myself up afterwards, that I wasn't keeping up the pace. And this is one of those things that I can't do this every day. I don't manage my day every single day in this view. However, some days I really need a list to show me you got a lot done. You are tired. Recharge. And it's nice to have something that can actually show me you got a lot done. You're tired. Recharge. Because I don't know about some of y'all, but I have some trouble listening to my body when I need to take a break. Notion's really helped me with that. These are some widgets. You can get them online and they're just embeddable. They're just technically little web page files that are embeddable, and it shows me how far in the year and the month I am and the local weather. I also put these little bird stickers in here. Sometimes you can download like stickers from Line or Telegram, and they're transparent, so they look good in any kind of little life map or something like that. And I have shortcuts to my purchases. I also have my active goals. Like right now, I'm trying to get up to 30 patrons on Patreon. And quick side note, by the way, look at this. Not a sponsor, just want to say thanks to all the stars in my patron constellation. I make lots of stuff, and y'all are the ones making it possible, so thank you. And if you're new, I got lots more videos and a free mailing list with all of my project updates. Okay, back to it. So, I gotta donate a lot of blankets and towels to an animal shelter, so that's something still on my list to do. I have them bagged up, ready to go. We just gotta go do it. But I also like to keep an extra tally of the extra little active goals that I had in here, that when I'm done, I move them in here. So this was originally what I was doing to give myself credit and be like, you got 96 things done this year. That's a lot. But now I've changed it to the achievements view in here, so I can actually see them listed out when I got them done too, which is really cool. I hope that this shows you just some of the things that Notion is very, very capable of doing. There are also tons of resources out there of how other people use Notion as a life map, as a story index, as a database, as so many different ways of how they're using it for their life dash, you know? There are a lot of things that I used to do on social media that I don't feel like I need social media for anymore because I have it all here in Notion. All of the stuff that I just showed you, all the stuff that I use this for, it's completely free. Why aren't you using Notion? You know? Notion is really, really cool, you guys. And I really think you should use it for your project. If you like this and you haven't subbed yet, please do so. Maybe check out my other story vids or project guides. Thank you for listening, take care, and I'll see you next week.